Hey everyone, I'm Lawrence from I Cosplay, and today I'm going to show you how I made these Katsuki's Gauntlet.
So the first thing I did was I got an egg at the end of Easter. I duct taped that egg just to get the shape of the egg. I then cut that in half to get the patterns. From there, I made a prototype egg just to test if the pattern would work. Once I was happy with the prototype, I took those files onto the computer and fixed them up. And that's how I made these. Now you can get these patterns in my shop, or you can start from the egg. But in this video, I'm going to start from these patterns I made. So in the next few steps, I'm going to get a piece of foam with my pattern and transfer those over by pinning them down and tracing them with a Sharpie. Once that's done, I'm going to carefully cut out my pattern, cutting out the darts as well. Do not cut these are registration marks. I'm going to do the same for the other piece as well, cutting out these center darts. Now for the sake of time, because there are a lot of pieces, I'm going to use my laser cut kit. So this is the laser kit. It comes with all necessary pieces to put together one gauntlet. So here we have the end caps, this is the top cap, and this is the bottom cap. These are the base of the shells, the large ones and the small ones, and then we have the triggers. So for the shell details, I like to keep them in the foam so that I know which are which when I go to put them on the gauntlet. So once I have my foam pieces shaped, I'm ready for contact cement. So I'm going to apply contact cement into the darts first. I'm going to rub them together, making sure that the contact cement is in the sharp corner of each of the darts. So I'm going to do that for all the darts. To ensure that your pieces actually stick together, I recommend putting 2 coats of contact cement. Once all the darts are put together, I like to test fit these pieces before applying the contact cement. Once again, I recommend 2 coats. Just give it a couple of minutes and let them dry. Once they were dry, I carefully put them together following the registration marks. So here I have some gaps that weren't sticking well together. That's not too big of an issue because I can come back with some super glue and squeeze them back together. You can use some CA accelerator to speed up this process. Once that's done, I'm ready for the caps to be put on. So here I've applied contact cement to this face of the top cap. For the bottom cap, I've applied the contact cement to this edge of the rim. So the top cap is going to sit on top, so I need to apply contact cement to this edge, while for the bottom cap, it's going to sit inside of it, so the contact cement needs to be inside of that. So I've already applied the contact cement to the gauntlet and to the caps. So right here, I'm just putting them together. Once you have the caps on the gauntlets, you can come back with a heat gun to relieve the stress. So for the next few steps, I'm going to cut out 2 1/4-inch strips and add them to the trim of the extruded part of the gauntlet. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So these strips are going to sit on this extruded region of the gauntlet. So here I'm going to apply the contact cement to both the strip and the gauntlet. Let that dry and then carefully put the strip onto the gauntlet. Once the strip is on the gauntlet, I'm going to trim off the excess with the box cutter. finally, we're going to add a strip to this top part of this extruded region. And once again, I'm going to apply the contact cement to both surfaces. Once the contact cement is dry, I'm going to carefully line up the edges and put the two pieces together. And then trim off the excess like before. Now I really like this method because not only does it hold the gaps that we created from the base of the shells earlier together, it also reduces the number of seams. Now by adding the bottom trim, we're going to even further reduce the visible seams of these gauntlets. So when applying small details like this, I don't use contact cement, I actually use the Loctite 200 and I found that works really well. So here I've already applied the Loctite 200 and you can see how strong it is. Now when I get to this seam area, I have a little bit of excess foam. It's not an issue, I can just trim it off with my box cutter. Once I've created this flushed seam, I came back with some super glue to reinforce it. Now all that's left is to put the trigger together. So here I've already put the contact cement on both sides and I'm going to sandwich the pieces together. Now that the trigger is assembled, all I have to do is apply the contact cement to the trigger and to the gauntlet. Now the only thing that's important here is to line up the seam of the gauntlet with the midline of the trigger.
Okay, and that's it. So hopefully you found that video tutorial helpful. I'll have part 2 up next week where I put the shells on and the plastic dip and color it. Other than that, stay tuned. I'll be doing this full cosplay for Crunchyroll Expo, which is in about 2 weeks or a week from now. So if you're going, hopefully I'll see you there. Other than that, bye. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you want to see what I do in between these projects, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'll have my info in the description down below. And we're getting close to my first milestone, which is 100 subscribers. You know, it's not much, but to start. So hopefully I'll have something cool then for everyone that's subscribed to me. Thank you guys once again.